Hello, everyone. Welcome to European Royals TV. And today we'll be continuing on with King Carl Gustaf of Sweden's life history. Please click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. And please also check out our community tab and playlist section for the catch up of King Carl Gustaf life history. And also you'll find Queen Silvia of Sweden's life history on the playlist section and community tab as well. So previous episodes we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and they were called. Number 1 was intro, number 2 was early life, number 3 was youth and education, number 4 was reign, session number 5 was views, session number 6 was called personal life, which included personal interest and scouting, and then we did episode number 7, which was called marriage and family, in terms of King Carl Gustaf of Sweden's life history. So today we'll be continuing on with session number 8, and it's called Use of Remaining Power. And the source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. So let's go. In terms of King Carl Gustaf of Sweden's life history, and this one is called Use of Remaining Power, and I'm reading from Wikipedia. So, empowered as head of the House of Bernadotte, King Carl Gustaf, since he was enthroned in 1973, has made a number of personal decisions regarding the titles and positions of relatives and family members, including the demotion of a sister, elevation of several commoners to royalty, rebuff of an elderly uncle's wishes, and the creation of new Swedish titles and duchies. 1974, his sister Christina married a non-royal Swedish man, and Carl Gustaf followed the example which his grandfather and predecessor had set for Christina's older sisters like two of Christina's oldest sisters with like marriages, so Christina was removed from the royal house, no longer a royal highness, and was given the courtesy title Princess Christina, Mrs. Magnusson, a special non-royal, non-noble style first invented in 1953 by King Haakon the Seventh of Norway, for his granddaughter Ragnhild, I think that is. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia, and we are continuing on with session number 8, which is called Use of Remaining Power, and this is in terms of King Carl Gustaf of Sweden's life history. I'm reading from Wikipedia, so let's continue. 1976, his own choice, taking advantage of his constitutional prerogative as king when he married a non-royal German Brazilian woman, saw her created Her Majesty Queen Silvia of Sweden. 1976, his paternal uncle, Bertil, later that year married a non-royal British woman who had lived with Bertil for decades, and with Bertil's titles, Carl Gustaf created her a Royal Highness, Princess of Sweden, and Duchess of, is it Holland? Holland or Holland? 1977, his daughter Victoria was born, and in 1980, Carl Gustaf created her Duchess of Västergötland, which has had duchesses before. 1979, his son Carl Philip was born, and Carl Gustaf created him Duke of Värmland, which has had dukes before. 1982, his daughter Madeline was born, and Carl Gustaf created a new duchy for her as Duchess of Hälsingland and Gästrikland. 1983, his paternal uncle Sigvard, since 1934, no longer Prince of Sweden because of a non-royal marriage to a German woman supported by legal experts, announced his own title as Prince Sigvard Bernadotte 18 years later, clearly citing a great uncle, Prince Oscar Bernadotte's title as his main president. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. Let's continue. However, Sigvard died in 2002, with Carl Gustaf never having responded to his uncle's statement and with the Royal Court of Sweden consistently refusing to honour it. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia, and we are continuing on with King Carl 16th Gustaf of Sweden's life history, and today's session is called Use of Remaining Power. So let's continue. 2003, his paternal grandfather's first cousin, Carl, died, and Carl Gustaf formally recognized his Belgian title by allowing Prince Carl Bernadotte on the gravestone at the Royal Cemetery, which is owned by the King. In 2014, he did the same there, allowing Carl's widow's name as Princess Christine Bernadotte when she died. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. Let's continue. In 2010, his daughter Victoria married a non-royal Swede, whom Carl Gustaf created a Royal Highness Prince of Sweden, and with her title, Duke of Västergötland. 2012, his granddaughter Estelle was born and created Duchess of Östergötland, which has had duchesses before. 2013, his daughter Madeline married a non-royal British American who declined Swedish citizenship, and Carl Gustaf gave him the special courtesy title of HERR with a capital H. Is that her? So it sounds like her, I think, with two R's at the end. 2014, his granddaughter Leonore was born and created Duchess of Gotland, which also previously has been a duchy. 2015, his son Carl Philip married a non-royal Swede, whom Carl Gustaf created a Royal Highness Princess of Sweden, and with the son's title Duchess of Värmland. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. Let's continue. 2015, his grandson Nicholas was born, and Carl Gustaf created a new duchy for him as Duke of is that Angermanland? Angermanland. 2016, his grandson Oscar was born and created Duke of Scania, which has had dukes before. 2016, his grandson Alexander was born later that year and created Duke of Södermanland. Is that Södermanland? And then it's got two like apostrophes on top of the O. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Duke of Södermanland, which has had dukes before. The source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. 2017, his grandson Gabriel was born and created Duke of Delana, which has had dukes before. 2018, his granddaughter Adrian was born, and Carl Gustaf created a new duchy for her as Duchess of Blekinge. There's so many things I can't pronounce. Try my best. Um, let's continue. 2019, Carl Gustaf issued a statement rescinding the royal status of his grandchildren, Leonor, Nicholas, Alexander, Gabriel, and Adrian, in an effort to more strictly associate Swedish royalty to the office of the head of state. The five are still to be styled as princess or princess, princes or princesses, and dukes or duchesses of their provinces, and they remain in the line of succession to the throne. We are talking about King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden's life history, and we are on that's session number 8. That's called use of remaining power. So let's continue. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. 2021, his grandson Julian was born and created Duke of Halland, which has had dukes before, with the same standing of 2019 as his elder brothers. Okay. 2025, his granddaughter Ines was born and created Duchess of Västerbotten, with the same standing of 2019 as her elder brothers. So that brings us to the end of session number 8, which was called Use of Remaining Power in terms of King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden's life history. The next session will be called Titles, Styles, Honours and Arms. And that will be later on. That will be session number 9. And then, if you have missed any of our previous sessions, you can catch up in our playlist section and on the community tab. And there's a playlist for King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden's life history. And also we did the same for his wife previously, which was Queen Silvia of Sweden's life history. You'll find that all in the playlist section and on the community tab. Source I've been reading from today is Wikipedia. Also, if you might be interested in British royal families' life histories, we also have Queen Elizabeth II's life history, Prince Edward's life history, and Princess Anne's life history, and Prince Philip's life history, all on the community tab. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and also please thumbs up if you haven't already. Thank you so much for all the people that left a comment in the chat. So